Good morning, students. So last class was on different terms that we got used to, and few questions I had given you regarding different terms, beginning with range. Range is highest value minus lowest value. Class mark or class midpoint is upper class limit plus lower class limit divided by 2. Just remember this much. Then width of the class is upper class limit minus lower class limit. Correction factor is the upper class limit minus lower class limit of the previous class divided by 2. So 4 formulas you need to learn and be thorough with: range, width, class mark or midpoint, and correction factor. And you should also know how to convert inclusive interval to exclusive class interval. Once you find the correction factor, you have to subtract from the lower class limit and add to the upper class limit. This is what we did in the last class, but all this is necessary for you to know before we go on with the next topics. Today what we will study is how we can also form a continuous frequency distribution. Last time we did in detail how to form a discrete frequency distribution. In today's class, we will learn how to do with class intervals. Class intervals can be of 3 types. One is inclusive class interval. Example, 0 to 9, 10 to 19. There is no continuity. 9 and then 10. Whereas exclusive class interval, example, 0 to 10, 10 to 20. So 10 and 10 there is continuity. And open-end class interval, but we will be mostly focusing on inclusive and exclusive while we are forming the continuous frequency distribution. Now to find how many classes we need to have, how many class intervals. Again, I'm reminding you, when we say number of classes, it means number of class intervals. So don't get wondering what this classes is. Classes means class interval. Understanding for you better will be the term class interval, isn't it? You're so used to. So you know 10 to 20 when I write, it's called a class interval. The other short form is class. Professor Sturge gave us one rule how we will arrive at how many number of classes, how many number of class intervals we can have in a table. The formula is given as 1 plus 3.322 log n. 1 plus 3.322 into logarithm of n. Now we need to learn how to find log of a value. So I will be taking you through today how you will find log of a value. I will do it after this slide. The width of the class. How much should be the width for us? Should it be 10 to 20? Should it be 10 to 15? That we decide with the formula range. Range is nothing but highest value minus lowest value divided by whatever number of classes we calculated, divide by that. Later I will show you an example as well. But for you, you should know these 2 formulas. Professor Sturge's rules formula for number of classes and for width of class. So they ask you what is Professor Sturge's rule? You have to write these 2 formulas. Next, cumulative frequency. Now frequency is number of observations. Now if I have frequencies like 2, 4, 6, cumulative frequency is adding up those frequencies. 2, 4, 6 I said. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Cumulatively you go on adding up the frequencies. You add first and the second, second and the third, third and the fourth. So added up frequencies is called cumulative frequencies. So they ask you what is cumulative frequency, your definition will be added up frequencies. In the cumulative frequency, we have two types. One is LCF, which means less than cumulative frequency. LCF or less than cumulative frequency. Another one is more than cumulative frequency. It is highlighted. I think you can see it's dark and highlighted. The two types of cumulative frequency are LCF and MCF. MCF stands for more than cumulative frequency and less than cumulative frequency. Now, how do I define LCF? The number of observations below a certain limit. Less than, isn't it? The word is less than. So, below a certain limit is LCF. The number of frequencies above a certain limit is more than cumulative frequency. The answer is in the word itself. Since it is less than, it is below a certain limit. Since it is more than frequency, it is above a certain limit. See the words we are using. Less than and below. More than and above. Easy for you to remember what is cumulative frequency, what is LCF, what is MCF. Next definition is what is less than cumulative frequency distribution. What is LCF distribution? Not LCF alone, LCF distribution. Now, a frequency distribution had values and its frequency. Correct? Discrete frequency we already discussed. What is a frequency distribution? A distribution which has values taken by a variable and their respective frequencies, X and F. That's how we did the tally mark table. X and F. Now, what is a LCF distribution? Less than cumulative frequency distribution. The frequency distribution formed for less than frequencies against the upper class limits. I'll show you the example. Against the upper class limits. Against the upper class limits. So you have upper class limits and you have the less than cumulative frequencies. The number of frequencies above a certain limit is more than cumulative frequency. The frequency distribution formed for more than cumulative frequencies against lower class limits. Against lower class limits is more than cumulative frequency distribution. Is more than cumulative frequency distribution. So here you know what a number of classes and width of class by Professor Stern's rule. What is cumulative frequency? What is LCF? What is MCF? What is LCF distribution? And what is MCF distribution? LCF distribution is the frequency distribution of LCF against upper class limits. LCF and upper class limits. Remember, opposite. Whereas more than cumulative frequency distribution is MCF. When I say MCF, you know what it is. MCF and lower class limits. MCF and lower class limits. Now, how to find logarithm? I told you log of n, log of any number. Now, log of 10. Log of 10, how do I write? Log of 100, how do I write? Log of when there are two digits, log 10, two digits, 1 and 0, then you have to write the logarithm in terms of characteristic and mantissa. A logarithm has two parts. One is called the characteristic and the decimal part is called the mantissa. So every logarithm value will have one characteristic part and the decimal part. One characteristic part and one mantissa part. Mantissa is the decimal part after the point and characteristic is before the point. The characteristic may be positive or negative, whereas mantissa is always positive. So two parts of a logarithm of a value, characteristic which is before the decimal point. Suppose I give you an example of 2.0345. 2.0345. 2 is the characteristic. 0.0345, what is after the point is called mantissa. 0345 becomes the mantissa. That's all. Now, how do you find the characteristic of a number? I will show you in an easier way. Mantissa is the second part. And this is the logarithm table which is there for us to find the values. See, I will go to this easier table. Now, I given you example how you will find the logarithm value of 121. How many digits are there before the decimal? 1, 2, 1. 3 digits are there. 3 digits. 1, 2, 1. 3 digits are there. So, characteristic will be 1 less than the number of digits. Characteristic is always 1 less than the number of digits. The characteristics of numbers greater than 1 is positive, and once less than the number of digits it is always 1 less than the number of digits. That's what I was telling you. The characteristics of numbers less than 1 is negative, and numerically 1 more than the number of zeros. Don't bother about all that. That's why I'm not going through this. I'll directly take you to the example what I've taken you. Just remember so much. There's too much of explanation. Don't break your head on it. Just understand from here. Whenever required, I will take you to the table. That's all. All that is not required. Don't worry at all. I've made it as simple by this table. 121. There are 3 digits before the decimal point. Our focus is always before the decimal point. Okay. Characteristics is one number less than that. 3 minus 1 is 2. That is the characteristic. Next number, same thing you see, 12.10. 121 is not same as 12.10, isn't it? It's a different number altogether. How many digits are there before decimal point? 2. Since there are 2 digits before the decimal point, 2 minus 1. So characteristic becomes 1. What is in the third thing? What is the number of digits? Only 1. 1.21. So only 1 digit is there. So 1 minus 1 is 0. This is how you write the characteristic. Suppose you had number 100. What would be the characteristic? 3 digits. 2. Characteristic is 2. Suppose you have number 10. How many digits? 2 digits. What is the characteristic? 1. If I have a number 1, how many digits? Only 1 digit. 1 minus 1 is 0. This is the characteristic. Now I have to find the mantissa. How to find mantissa? Just look at 121. I'll take you to the table, log table. Look at this log table, the logarithm table. Are you looking at the logarithm table? I need to find a value. You will be given the table in the examination also. And in your textbook there is. And you always Xerox one and keep. It is available in page B and C of your textbook. So you must have the logarithm table, and once you buy your record book for the practical classes, you will have it there also. So we don't worry where to get this from. You will be given in the exam also a logarithm table where you can find the values. Now 121. We are now focusing on 121. I don't have 121. I have only 10. Look at the left hand side of the table. 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. And so on and so forth will be there. I've just taken so much. But we don't have up to 120. So what we should do is, since we want 121, look at 12 and under 1. Can you see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? Under 1 you see the value. For 12 and 1, what is the value? 0828. That is the third row. and second column. Third row and second column corresponding to 12 and 1. So row beginning with 12 under the column 1. What is the value? 0828. So Mantissa is 0.0828. Next, for log 12.1, same thing. You look for 12 and 1. I'll take you to the table. See now, what is the Mantissa value for 121? Where will you search in the table? 12 and 1. For 12.1, for that also you look at 12 and 1. For 1.21, there also you look at 12 and 1. You don't get in the table for hundreds. You don't get for 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to look for everything 12 and 1. So Mantissa is same 0828. What is the difference is only the characteristic. So characteristic is varying. For 121, since there were 3 digits, it is 2.0828. 12.10, since there were 2 digits, it is 1.0828. 1.21, since there is only 1 digit before the decimal point, it is 0.0828. Observe, Mantissa has not changed. This is how you find log values. Simple. Anti-log values. Now, anti-log of the logarithm values. Now, 2.0828. You have to go and check in the anti-log table for 0.0828. So let us go to the anti-log table and search for 0.0828. Where will we search? In the 08. In the row 08. And under 2. Under 2, 08 and 2, it is 1208. Can you see 1208? Corresponding to 8, and under the column 2, what is the value you are getting? 1208. But we want to look for 0828. So next, for the fourth digit, go to the mean difference. Go to the mean difference. When you see the mean difference corresponding to 8, how much is the mean difference under 8? 2. 08 to 8. So you have to add that 2 to 1208. So 1208 plus 2 equals 1210. I've given you the explanation. In anti-logarithm table, see row beginning with 8 under the column 2 and mean difference column 8 in the same row. Thus we get 1208. Then that mean difference, you have to add it to 1208. You get 1210. How much are you getting? 1210. Now we will put anti-log value as 1210. Again for 1.0828, again in 0.0828, you have to see. When you're looking at the anti-log table, don't bother about the 2 point, 1 point. Don't look at a characteristic. Only focus on the Mantissa. So Mantissa value, you will get 1210, 1210, 1210. Now we have to decide where to put the dot. Since the log value characteristic is 2, in anti-log it is opposite. You have to add 1. Whereas in characteristic, in logarithm value in the above table, up the table first one, you subtracted 1. When there were 3 digits, you subtracted 1 and wrote 2. Now opposite, in anti-log you have to add 1. You have to add 1. So it is 2.0828. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So after 3 digits, put the point. After 3 digits, put the point. 1.0828. So after 1 means add 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So after 2 digits, put the value. 0.0828. So 0 plus 1. So after 1 digit, put the value. So this is the actual value. Now can you see we got the same answer as how the question was. 121. Starting number is 121. Actual value now we got 121. So logarithm and anti-logarithm will give you finally the actual value. This is how you will use logarithm. You need to know only logarithm value, not the antilog immediately. You need to know logarithm of n, because in Professor Sturt's rule, it is 3.332 log n. So if it's log 100 is how much? 2. Log 100 is how much? How? You have to go to log 100. 100, how you will search? 10 and 0. What is zeros, Mantissa? 0, 0, 0. But 100 is how many digits? 2 digits. So 2.000 is your answer. Log 100 is 2. What is log 1000? Log 1000. So you look again for 10 and 0. So 1000 has 4 digits. 4 digits means 4 minus 1. So it is 3.000. What is log 10? 2 digits. 10 is 2 digits. So 1.000. So log 10 is 1. Log 100 is 2. Log 1000 is 3, and so on and so forth. So if they ask you what are the values of log, you should be able to know it using the log table. This is just how to know the log table. This is the example for cumulative frequency distribution, less than cumulative frequency distribution. A normal frequency distribution, it looks like this: weight and number of persons. Weight and number of persons. What is the weight? 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. Number of people, that is frequency. So this is a continuous frequency distribution with exclusive class interval, a normal type of frequency distribution. This is how a frequency distribution will look. But same thing if I have to write as less than cumulative frequency distribution, how do I write? I write it as, instead of writing 30 to 40, we write it as open-end class interval less than 40. Next. 40 to 50, how do you write? Less than 50. 50 to 60, how do I write? Less than 60. 60 to 70, how do I write? Less than 70. Less than cumulative frequency distribution, you write in terms of less than, and write the LCF. Now, how do you find LCF? 10. First 10 is the frequency, right? Same. Write it as same as 10. Second one is 25. How did it become 25? 10 plus 15. I told you to add up frequencies. 10 plus 15. How much is that? 25. Next, 25 you have, add 20. You get 45. 45 you have, add 15. You'll get 60. This is how you do less than cumulative frequency distribution. Less than cumulative frequency distribution. So 10 plus 15 is 25. 25 plus 20 is 45. 45 plus 15 is 60. This is how you write less than cumulative frequency distribution. Observe more than cumulative frequency distribution. How did they write? Instead of writing 30 to 40, they write it as more than 30. 40 to 50, more than 40. What all is more than 40? 41, 42, 43, 44, up to 50. More than 40. How do you write more than 50 to 60? More than 50, more than 60. So basically less than 40. 40 is upper class limit. That is what I gave you in the definition. What is LCF? The frequency distribution formed for less than cumulative frequencies against upper class limits. Against upper class limits. So upper class limits are 40, 50, 60, 70. Whereas lower class limits are 30, 40, 50, 60. So in more than cumulative frequency distribution, we are writing lower class limits and the MCF. How do you write MCF? The total 10 plus 15 plus 20 plus 15 is how much? 60. 10 plus 15, 25. 25 plus 20, 45. 45 plus 15 is 60. Total is written on the top. See, in MCF, it's written in descending order. Big one on the top, and then it goes on reducing. Whereas in LCF, you look at it, You start with small and end with higher number. It is in ascending order. Whereas a frequency distribution, everything is mixed. Number of persons is 60. How you got 60? Total of all the numbers. Next, how I get 50? I have to subtract now. In the previous LCF, we went on adding 10 plus 15, 25, 25 plus 20, 45, 45 plus 15, 60. Now I subtract. I write big number from the top, 60. 60 minus 10 is 50. 50 minus 15 is 35. 35 minus 20 is 15. That is how you write MCF. Okay. So this is an example how you write less than cumulative frequency distribution and more than cumulative frequency distribution. Next important term is what is frequency density. See the formula. Frequency density is frequency of the class by width of the class. Frequency of the class, it is a ratio of the class frequency to the width of the class. Width of the class. So how do you define it? Frequency density is the ratio of, see the second part in the definition, the frequency per unit of class interval is the frequency density, or it is a ratio of the class frequency to the width of the class. So F by C. F by C. Frequency of class is written as F. Width of the class is written as C. So what is frequency density? Remember, it is F by C. F is frequency of the class. C is width of the class. So F by C. How do you calculate? If class interval is given, different frequencies are given, write the width of the class. For 0 to 10, what is the width? 10. For 10 to 30, what is the width? How do you find width? Upper class limit minus lower class limit. 30 minus 10, 20. Next, 50 minus 30, 20. Next class interval. 60 minus 50 is 10. That's how you find out the width. Next is 60 to 65. How do you find the width? 65 minus 60. So first find the width. Then frequency density is F by C. Frequency divided by the width of the class. I think it's pretty much clear in this table how you find frequency density. What is the definition? What is the formula? Definition is ratio of frequency to the width of the class. Formula is frequency density equals frequency by width of the class. How to solve is there in this table. But this is pretty much important, normally asked. So learn this. Relative frequency is another term that we should know. It is a ratio of the frequency of the value of the variable to the total frequency. It is a ratio of frequency of the value of the variable to the total frequency. Instead of frequency by width, it is frequency by total frequency. It is frequency divided by total frequency. So ratio of frequency divided by total frequency. No width, but instead F by C it was. Now F by N. N is capital N. Capital N is what? Total of all the frequencies. So if they have given you frequencies 2 for 2, 1 and 0, frequencies 1, 2 and 1, then what is relative frequency? 1 divided by the total frequency. How much is total frequency? 4. 1 plus 2 plus 1. That's how you calculate relative frequency. So frequency density is F by C. Frequency density is F by C. Relative frequency is F by N. So what all we studied? Professor Sturge's rule. Then we went to cumulative frequencies and we learned the two tables. How to find log value. Now frequency density and relative frequency. Next is some general rules that we have to know for classification. Simple general rules. Now when I form a table, there has to be some conditions how I'm going to classify the data. First one, The number of classes or number of class intervals should be between 4 and 15. Now a table can't be very long, you have 20 class intervals. No. Maximum 15 is good. Minimum at least 4 is good. So it should be between 4 and 15. Exclusive classes should be formed for better continuity. We had two types of class intervals, inclusive and exclusive. Which is a better one? You have to choose always exclusive type of class interval. Remember, one is number of classes, one is which type of class interval. Exclusive class interval should be chosen for better continuity. Next, the width of the class should be constant, like this. In this example, you see the frequency distribution. There are 4. Next is it is exclusive type of class interval, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. Because there's continuity, 40 and again 40, 50 and 50, it's repeating, isn't it? There is no gap in between the upper class limit and the lower class limit of the next interval. So that type is called exclusive. So it should be exactly like this, like the first table. And the width should be equal. 30 to 40, what is the width? 10. 40 to 50, what is the width? 10. 50 to 60, what is the width? 10. 60 to 70, what is the width? 10. Whereas you see this table, it is 0 to 10. Then the width became 10 to 30. It's varying. It should not vary actually. If it varies, then you have to find out frequency density. Normally, a good table, ideal table will not have different class width. So third one is width of the class should be constant throughout the distribution. It should be constant throughout the distribution. Learn that much. The width of the class should be constant throughout the distribution. Avoid open-end classes. Avoid open-end classes. Like more than, less than type, avoid. Because mid values to get is difficult. If it's 30 to 40, easily you'll calculate mid value. 30 plus 40 by 2. Isn't it? But if it is less than 30, how do I do? Less than 30. 30 plus what? How do I calculate mid value? That is the reason, avoid open-end classes. Then how it should be arranged? Either in ascending order or descending order, not mixed up. The class intervals 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, or 30 to 40, 40 to 30, 30 to 20, in order it should be. It should not be mixed up. It should be usually in ascending order. The class interval should be arranged in ascending order. And the first number when you write this 30 to 40, this 30, 40, 50, these lower class limits should be multiples of 5. You should not normally start from 3 to 7 and all that, or 4 to 5, or 13 to 14, or 13 to 18. Avoid that type of class intervals. It's better it starts from 5, 10, 15, or 10, 20, 30. That is better to have the class interval. So what are the 6 rules? Number of classes should be between 4 and 15. Exclusive class interval should be used. The width of the class should be constant. Open-end classes should be avoided. Classes should be in ascending order. Lower limit of the class should be a multiple of 5. Lower limit of the class should be multiple of 5. Based on all this, I've given the quiz. So all this right from Professor Sturt's rule, and a lot of calculation you need to do for your quiz also. So you need to use the formulas. So you should know the small formulas. Okay. Now I will take you through a problem. Till now what I have done will help you for the quiz. Now what I am going to do will help you for also your assignment. They have given us students, 50 students of a college. And they want us to make a table, a continuous frequency distribution. Now, we don't know how many classes. We don't know width of the class to do the table. See, the table looks like this, 30 to 35. But how do I know to start from 30 or to start from where? So there are some rules we need to follow to prepare this table. First, find range. How much is range? Highest value minus lowest value. When you look at the question, read the numbers. What is the highest value? You have to search. After searching, you will also find that the highest value is 64. Be careful while looking for, don't say 60 after you look 60. There will be bigger numbers. Look at all the numbers, search for the big number. After searching, it will be 64. Lower value, lowest around the place is 32. Now this is solved problem, so I know. Otherwise, you need to search. 64 minus 32. So find the range. Range is highest value minus lowest value. So what is step number 1? Find the range. Now we have to find number of classes and width of the class. Use Professor Sturt's rule. What is K? Number of classes? 1 plus 3.322 into log n. Log 50. Log 50. So log 50 you have to find out in your logarithm table. Your logarithm table you need to, I think log table for 50 I don't have here. No, we don't have for 50. Okay, I will send it to you in the WhatsApp group, because if you don't have textbook, you will not have the log value. Okay, log 50. You can take down log 50. I have the textbook here. In the textbook, log 50 is log 50. 50 is in page number 396. Those who have textbook. 50 is 6990. 50, log 50 is 2 digits. 50 has 2 digits. So characteristic is 1 point. And if you see 50 in the log table, the value is 6990. So 1.6990. So how much is log 50? All of you write down. Log 50 equals to, they have not worked it out in the class, what is that, textbook. But you take down log 50 is how much? 2 digits, so it is 1 point. And at 50 from the log table, it is 6990. All those who have textbook can have a look later. 1.6990. 1.6990. So how do you use BODMAS rule? 1.6990 into 3.322. It is 5.64. Use a calculator. You will get 5.64. Then you add to 1. You get 6.64. So you can't say number of classes are 6.64. You should have whole number, right? So approximate it to 7. So we will have 7 classes. Now what is the width of the class or size of the class? It is range by number of classes. What is range? 32. What is the number of classes we found out? 7. So 32 by 7, 5. So width is approximately 5. So now how do I know where should I start? Least value was 32. But we will not start from 32 because sixth rule says us, what does the sixth rule tell us? It tells us select a multiple of 5. So we have to start, we can't start from 35 because 32 is there. So I have to start from 30. So, and what is the width? 5. And what type of class interval we have to use? We have to use exclusive interval. And the width should be equal for everything. Once you start with 5 width, everything should be 5. That is how you prepare the frequency distribution. So 30 to 35. Next is 35 to, because it is exclusive, 35 to 40. So first write down the class interval. How did you derive or come to this decision of class interval? By calculating using Professor Sturt's rule. We need class width and number of classes. So how many classes are there? 30 to 35, 35 to 40, 40 to 45, 45 to 50, 50 to 55, 55 to 60, 60 to 65. Our highest was 64, and 64 gets covered in that. Then it is normal procedure. Now 42 is our first number. So where you will put? You will put it in 40 to 45. You will put in 40 to 45. Next is, next is 62. Put it. Now there are 10 numbers in each. The 10th number is 45. How will you put 45? Where will you put 45? Will you put in 40 to 45, or will you put it in 45 to 50? When you have such a situation, always remember, put it in the next one. 40 to 45, 45 to 50. So 45, the tally mark should be put in 45 to 50, not in the 40 to 45. I hope I'm clear. We'll see one more example. Now 10 numbers are there. 12th number you see, 50. 47 and then 50, 12th number. In the first row there are 10, then 11th number is 47, 12th number is 50. Now when I'm putting for 50, where should I put? Should I put it in 45 to 50 or 50 to 55? We have to put it in 50 to 55 and put the tally marks. You only put and then cross check with this question whether it is correct. I've given you to do this only as your, whatever is in the classwork only, do it as homework. Okay. And then tally mark, frequency, total you should get 50. Second one. Following are the rules, marks obtained by students in a certain test. Prepare a frequency distribution with an interval of 10 marks each using inclusive class intervals. Now, he has already told us what type of class interval. So you can't say exclusive only have to do. Since he has told you to do inclusive, you have to choose inclusive. Width is already given. Interval of 10 marks. Width is 10, already given to us. So we should go ahead and do the problem. When width is already given, we don't have to use Professor Sturt's rule. When are we using Professor Sturt's rule? When they have not told us anything about the width nor about the number of classes. So what is the lowest value? 12. What is the highest value? 69. And how does he want us to do the intervals? Width of 10. Inclusive class intervals, width becomes for 10, 10 to 19, 20 to 29. For inclusive, it is 10. But here it looks like the width is 9. But when you convert it to exclusive, the width will be 10. Okay, so remember, with an interval of 10 marks each, using inclusive means it is not 10 to 20, 21 to 30. No, it becomes 10 to 19, 20 to 29, since there is a gap. Then you put the tally marks as usual. Then you put the tally marks. So be careful. Inclusive he has told you. So don't write 10 to 20, 20 to 30. It should be 10 to 19, 20 to 29. These are your homework questions. Write Professor Sturt's rules to find the number of classes, width of the class. What is frequency density? What is relative frequency? Write the 6 rules of classification. Define cumulative frequency, less than cumulative frequency, more than cumulative frequency, then the distributions. You also give examples. Also give examples of those 2 tables. That much you can do. And then 2 problems. The number of doctors serving the record, prepare discrete frequency. I've given you the 2 homework questions from the previous videos matter. Discrete. Today's I've given you to do from the video itself. But for homework I've given you from the previous, because in the previous I didn't give you to prepare a discrete. So discrete means what? No class interval. So what are your values? Number of doctors in different, serving in 40 different hospitals. So number of doctors and number of hospitals. Number of hospitals. Number of doctors and number of hospitals. So number of doctors. What are the different numbers? What's the minimum? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So under number of doctors, what will you write? In bracket, you'll write X. Number of doctors, X. In that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And next column, you'll put tally mark. And next column, in the frequency column, you will put number of hospitals. Number of hospitals. So number of hospitals, you will write after calculating the tally. Total of the number of hospitals, how much you must get? 40. You must get 40. No class intervals. Next one also no class intervals. So what are the numbers? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are all discrete distributions where your numbers are very few. Whereas in the previous, see the numbers, you can't do discrete. You have to do class intervals. They are like ranging from 12 to 69. You can't write 12, 13, 14. The rule of table is you must have only 15 maximum tables. Whereas if you start for this, how many, if you do discrete, you will have to do 40 or 50, which is against the rule. Here, there are only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, only 7. Here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again 7. So it suits the rule that you have the classes from 4 to 15. Don't do class interval when it is this type. It is discrete frequency distribution like what we did in the last video. Fine. So all the best. Do your work and complete it.